Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm Hani, founder of Hanielas. And today we're going to fast forward to fall. I decided to do fall inspired wedding cookies today. So I'm going to show you how to do those. But before we get started, I wanted to say hello to everyone. So hello. Hi, Charlie. How is it going? Hello, Kathy. Hi, Sally. It's really hot in Manhattan. Well, actually, it's raining now here, so we're very grateful. Finally, some rain, and hopefully, with that, it will also cool off. So I'm gonna show you. Here we go. So here are the cookies. So in the preview on social media, I only showed a little bit. I didn't show the whole project. So here is what we are making today. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first step. And that is, hello, Linda. Hello, Heather. How is it going, everyone? So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first step. I have a few things pre-recorded here. Let me just figure out which screen. Hopefully, and let me know in the comments, okay, if you're having trouble. Remember last week we had some issues with the screen positioning incorrectly. So I'm going to bring up this screen here. And this is the cookie that I'm using. I made the holes with a drinking straw before I baked those. And I also baked them on a perforated mat. And I will be decorating that side. So basically, I'm decorating the underside. Now, depending on your cutter, the shape, you may end up having a slightly different template. But this is just cardstock that I'm using for the template. And you can find all the tools, guys, in the description box under the video on YouTube. I don't think it's showing on Facebook, but it is on YouTube. All the tools are there, and also links to the tools are there as well. So I'm going to be painting portion of my cookie with gold luster dust. Thank you, Sally. Hi, Julie. So everybody's seeing the correct screen. Okay, very well. So I'm adding a little bit of Everclear into my palette, my tray palette, paint palette tray. And we're just going to paint bare cookie. Now, many of you have seen me use gold luster dust during the live streams, but I don't think I've used it to paint the bare cookie in the live stream. So you can also do that, so without any icing. So we're just gonna add a layer. And notice I'm just adding this in that section that I marked with my template. So this is going to be fully exposed. I love the texture that the perforated mat provides on the underside. So this is such a nice detail. And then we're going to ice the two sections around it. So this is the first step, basically. So let me remove this, and we're gonna go ahead. And the second step is spreading a thin layer of icing on those sections. So when you're cutting the tipless bag, you find a seam in the middle, you press it down, and then you cut straight across. Now I'm using, this is like a 10 colored royal icing, about 15. You can go even 10 for this step, because we're just going to spread a thin layer. Yes, it does kind of look like fabric. I like that analogy. Thank you. And now we're going to spread it. You can use a palette, or you can also use, if you don't have a palette knife, you can use a paintbrush, the same paintbrush I use for, well, you need to wash it, obviously, but same kind of flat paintbrush that I used in the beginning to paint the gold onto the cookie. And I'm just adding a really thin layer here, just so there is some coverage. And it's also going to help with what I would say adherence, I guess, because when you're piping royal icing on a bare cookie, like we're going to do with the with the basket weave technique that I'm going to be using. There is a lot of fat on the surface. It could also just become dislodged as it once it dries. But I don't think in this case it would be a problem because there is a texture. But if the cookie is super smooth underneath, it could be a problem. So icing helps kind of with the icing to stick to it. It's going to stick to it better. So I'm just going to clean those holes there. That's where we're going to put the ribbon. I had a different design in mind when I was making the cookies or baking the cookies, but I made it work for this fall-inspired wedding with a ribbon in there at the very top. So now we're just going to spread some icing on the bottom. And to get this color, I don't think I mentioned that. I use a little bit of brown and I add a little bit of purple to it. And you can also add a little bit of yellow to get, like, if you are looking for more mustardy colored. I love how so Linda, I think Linda in Sweden, finally summer arrived. I'm very happy for you that you are having a warm summer now. I'm very grateful that we have rain, so it cooled up a little bit. So this is the base that we're gonna be working with. I'm gonna start with that now. So I'm gonna just remove this screen and then let's come back. Okay, let's back up. I'm going to switch the screens because I want to show you this close so you guys can see what I'm doing, because I think this is a little too far. So reason I decided to, let me just remove this. And then now here comes the tricky part. Can you, now give me thumbs up. Can you see the big screen with my hands, or is it small? I'm going to give it a couple moments so we can have the correct screen on there so you can see what I'm doing. So I wanted to do burlap. As you know, it's very popular in the fall. It's such a nice texture. It's very earthy and everything. But doing the burlap on, okay, thumbs up. I'm getting thumbs up from Heather, yay. Doing burlap on, this is about a 4-inch cookie here that I have here. Okay, about 4-inch. So doing burlap, if you have to do a lot of these, usually for weddings, you know, you have a big wedding, and if everybody's getting like a favor, it's a lot. And so I wanted to make it a bit faster. And so I decided, so it looks like we are good to go. I decided to do burlap, but slightly different, not with the straight lines. Normally, like you would do a burlap like with a basket weave kind of method, where you pipe your lines like this, and then you pipe another line next to it, and then you go like this, okay? So I decided to go wavy. Hi, Colleen. No, you really didn't miss that much. I'm just starting with the main technique here. So instead of going straight, I decided to do the wavy line, which gives you more kind of room for, I would say, not a mistake, but it's just more forgiving. And I'm using, this is like a piping consistency icing here. You see, it's not spreading too much. Now you can pipe the line across like this, and then also on this end. And it's a lot faster. Now, if you want, you can turn the cookie and then do it this way. But with the zigzag, I don't think it's that important. You can just do it from the same side. So you get the idea. This is basically what we are going to see now on the screen, and then you just repeat. See, it's not, if you're doing straight lines, it takes a lot of time, and also there's a lot of not a lot of pressure, but you can fatigue your wrist really easily, and then you continue. I'm going to show you in a video how to do it on a curve, like when you have a cookie that is curved, and I will get to it in a minute here. So let me remove this screen and let's go here. All right. So this is the heart that we're starting with, and I started in the middle. This is slow. This is slightly sped up, so we can get through the whole thing. Most of the top is going to be decorated, and then we'll do the bottom. So I'm doing it, like I said, zigzag line, basically basket weave technique, but instead of straight lines, I'm doing zigzags. Hi, Karen. No, you're on time. We're doing this technique to create kind of like a burlap, but faster with this basket weave method where we are using zigzag lines, not a straight line. And then you go all the way to the edge. And then if there is an excess, don't worry about it because we can scrape it off while the icing is still wet. For this to work, if you don't want your icing to start blending together, it should be, like I said, about piping consistency. So it's not too runny nor too stiff. And now you can use a scribe or palette knife and just scrape that off. And now I'm going to start on the bottom section here. Again, starting in the middle. This way I can save some time and do both sides like so. All right, we are almost done with this step, and then we're going to add some. Thank you, Linda. We're going to add some flowers and also some foliage, so it's going to be really pretty. Again, clean it up while it's still wet. And now we're gonna continue, and I'm going to get this out. Now, I'm going to be using this stencil here that I made out of mylar. I will have a tutorial for my patrons how to make the stencil out of mylar. You could probably get something like this already made. The only thing is I needed this to be particular size. I could have done it before I did the burlap, but I forgot. That's why it's this narrow, so I could fit it in that section. So let me show you how I did that. Now I've got my little stencil secured with magnets. There is some room between the cookie and the stencil because my magnets are a little too large. They're about 1/4 inch thick, and this works when you have a fully iced cookie. Seems like a lot to do for 200-300 cookies. Yeah, it doesn't really take that long, I have to say. Burlap itself, I think, like if you're not the burlap, when you do the traditional basket weave, it does take a long. It just you could obviously skip this and just use a stencil and a brush or something like that. And like I said, this in hindsight could have been done before I did the burlap. And I'm just gonna run my small spreader across just to smooth that a little bit. Now we can lift it up and you can repeat that. I was able to do 3 or 4 with the same stencil. Now we're gonna add some green, and I love eucalyptus so much, and I have it here in the house as well. I usually buy it once a year and let it dry, and I have it in a vase. So beautiful. So I'm gonna pipe 2 branches of this like olive green, which is I used the leaf green with black food coloring, and then I added a little bit of white to it to make a lighter shade, and that's going to be for the leaves. So I'm using piping consistency here. Thank you, Lori. Heather, I'm also thinking this could be used on a sweater when you think about it. I mean, it does look like a texture that would look good on a sweater, I think. I have to try it. So now I'm adding these short stems, and then we can add the leaves, and then I've got things ready here so I can show you how to finish. Now I'm going to switch to that lighter colored icing, and you can see this is also thicker consistency, like a piping consistency. I didn't want this to spread too much because I'm already piping it on a textured base. So if it was too runny, it would just sink into the crevices there, and I didn't want that. So I'm piping basically large blobs of icing at the end of each stem. And now I'm using parchment. This is a piece of parchment that I had cut before, a little strip. And I'm just going to very gently press the leaves down. I'm not pressing down the stem, just the leaves, those little blobs that I made with lighter green color. And then we can just forget about it. This will dry in no time, so maybe an hour or so should be enough. And then you can do the second branch and finish that off. And those of you folks, if you are new to the live stream, I'm going to pop that in the comment section. If you're looking for the royal icing recipe that I'm using, I want to put it in there so you can grab it. It's on my blog, hanielas.com, and hopefully, okay, yes, going. Thankfully, it's working. All right. So now the same thing, just pressing this down a little bit and then letting it dry. All right. All right, so this step is done, and now I'm going to remove my screen and then come in with this little screen. So you see, this is the cookie that we just did, and I let it dry. And now let's see what's underneath. Alrighty, so this could be it. I mean, you could just add an end or it's called ampersand in the middle, but as you know, I'm going to complicate things. I wanted to use sunflowers that I had made before, and these you can also find a full tutorial on the blog. We also did this in a live stream a couple of years ago. Let me get, and also a template is in the coffee shop. If I can find the sunflower step-by-step tutorial, I'm going to put the link for that tutorial if you wanted to check it out. It's a free tutorial on the blog if you wanted to make sunflowers. And these I made, I think, last year or 2 years before the sunflowers. So they do last for a long time. Okay. All right, so I figured that I will have the sunflower here or here. I also have other types, so it depends on the look you want. I really like the small ones for this design. I didn't want it to overwhelm the message, Mr. and Mrs. So I'm going to now bring in my this is the dark olive I used for the main branch. And I'm going to be adding some more branches, and it looks like it dried in my bag, or it's clogged up, of course. Let's see if I can get it out. Oh yeah, definitely on a scarf for the snowman. All right, so I've got my piping bag working, and here I've got, and this is thick consistency icing, and I've got a small petal tip, 101S. This is a very small, I think probably the smallest petal tip there is. So petal tip, it just means that one end is wider than the other, and we're going to use this to make tiny little flower petals. So I'm going to put this aside. Now we're going to pipe a couple of branches at the very top here. Oops. Maybe here. Okay, hopefully you can see better. Now I'm going to bring in my white icing, and I'm holding the piping bag with a narrow end facing out and wide end is facing me. So narrow end is going here and wide end here. And I'm just going to pipe a little petal here. Can you guys see? Okay. And another here. And also some on the actual stem. Let's add another one here. All right, so and let's repeat this on this end here. So I'm going to turn it over like this. And so we've got a flower here. So I'm going to repeat this on this end. And again, remember 101S, very small petal tip, and narrow end is facing out and wide end is facing in. Let's do 3 here. Now let's do some small ones here on the stem. All right, and here are my flowers. Okay, so we can just glue those on. Thank you, Phil. I'm using just a little bit of icing on there. Okay, so this is, we have one more thing to do with icing. And then we're going to finish with the bow. All right, so let's see if I can get this out. Okay, that's working. So now I'm gonna do the ampersand in the middle. Or you could, if you're struggling with let's see, if I can. If we are struggling with the oops. What's going on? Okay, hopefully it's gonna be working now. You can also do, I believe this would work. So you can do any number of, or you can just do plus if you'd like to. I think I'm gonna have to take my glasses off for this one. Okay. Oh, I think it could have been a little more centered, but oh well, maybe towards this end, but doesn't matter now. All right, so now we're gonna do the bow, and I'm gonna show you. I've got two different colors. I've got yellow and wood scraped royal icing. Would scraped royal icing over a stencil hold well to a naked cookie, or does the cookie need some sort of coating like you used to make it stick? I think it will be, you know what, like, I think it will be fine. I think I was more referring to when I make honey cookies. They are, it's a different type of a cookie, and it's usually brushed with egg wash. And those designs, sometimes they will come off if there is the egg wash. But on this side, I don't think it will be a problem. Unless the design is very, very delicate, it could come off. But I don't think the burlap will come off. But if it's very, very delicate, like if you're doing, let's say, like a scalloped edge on a bare cookie, that sometimes will come off, unfortunately, from my experience. If the line is very delicate, if it's a thicker line and it has more surface that it's sticking to the cookie, it will stay there. But if it's super, super delicate, sometimes it will chip off. All right, so let me grab, I don't know which one you prefer, the blue or the yellow. I'm gonna do the yellow. I feel like it goes with the sunflower. So those of you who have done these type of bows, you are probably familiar with them, and you maybe seen them on YouTube, or nothing new. So basically, I'm going to use these fingers to shape it. This end here, it will be it's the tail. So it depends on how long you want the tail. You can keep it, longer or shorter. We're gonna keep it fairly short, and I'm going to wrap it like this. I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna thread the end of the ribbon through this hole, and now we're gonna thread it through this little opening. Oops, a little too big. Before I tie it completely, so I make it tight, I'm gonna thread They're not really rosebuds. I don't know what that flower is called. They're not really rosebuds. It's just, I was just doing petals, not really roses. So I'm gonna thread it through here. Now we can trim the ends. Let's see. And now to secure it through the holes, you just thread it with the twist tie. Use a twist tie. And at the very end, I'm not going to actually tie it. I'm just going to fold it. I find this works enough for the bow to stay in place. And there is kind of no bulging at the end, and you have to trim it. Okay, so this is how you can finish them off. Obviously, when you're doing the ribbon, wait for the flowers to dry a little bit so you don't accidentally mess them up with the bow. All right. So here are the finished cookies. I hope you enjoy this live event, guys. If you do like it, just give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I also wanted to show you, where is it? Okay. So I've gotten a picture from Sally. Sally made the cookies from last week's live stream where we did some stenciling just like today. So thank you so much for sending these in, Sally. I love how you added little corner decoration there. I assume that's a sprinkle. I think Wilton, they have these gold sprinkles that I think I also have those. Those come in handy. I also wanted to let you know that I have a new tutorial in Patreon and also in Coffee, my template shop. There are templates for the starfish transfer sheets. And so that went out this week. And I also wanted to bring up my, if I can, I think I can do that. So this is also out in the Patreon, 3D ring box cookies with isomalt gems. This is all cookie, and you can place it on the top. Super cute, adorable thing to maybe gift someone. Thank you, everyone. Oh yeah, so those are sprinkles. Yeah, I figured those come in handy. They are also silver. I don't know what they're called. They have them in silver and gold. I have both, and I have used them on occasion. Thanks, Sally. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. As always, pleasure to spend some time with you. And I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.